Do you ever feel like trading is too complicated? Maybe you've convinced yourself that you'll never understand it and therefore you can't do it. Or maybe that it's only for people with special education and experience. So why not just leave your money with them? Well, if that's you, then I've got good news because in this video, I'm going to show you not only how trading is simple, but that anybody can do it, even you. I'm Pepper. This is the Godly Trading Podcast. Welcome to our new time slot. By the way, I do need to let you know that we have been we've been here every Sunday night at 5 o'clock. But from now on, we're going to be here at 7 o'clock because all of our other godly trading, our mastermind, our weekly, all those things we're going to 7 o'clock. So from now on, if you want to see the Godly Trading Podcast, where we do the Bible study for traders, we have those conversations with other Christian traders, 7 o'clock Central. That's when we're doing it. Tonight's topic is one that has come up to me lately with these one-on-one video calls that I do. I was asking a friend of mine the other day about, hey, what are some of the things that hold people back? And I gave him a list of, hey, I don't need, when it comes to trading, holding you back. And I gave him this whole list. And he said, hey, the number one thing is that it's too complicated and that I can't do it. And by the way, we're going to spend the entire upcoming week on our challenge. The producer will pop that thing up there. You can go to the godlytrading.com/challenge. It's a free challenge. You can sign up here to get a ticket to that. We're going to spend the entire week attacking this one aspect from different angles. You can do this. Anyone can trade. Trading is simple. And so we're going to spend an hour each night, Monday to Thursday, talking about this topic. But I wanted to give you a preview of that tonight. So, by the way, if you want to get a ticket, it's, like I said, the general admission tickets are free. There's a VIP. We meet an hour ahead of time. We go have some one-on-one or group discussion. But I just wanted to mainly tackle this idea that trading is not complicated. Trading is simple, but we are the ones that think that it's overly complicated. And here's a Bible verse, since this is the Bible study for traders hour. This is from Romans 10:14-15. And never go off camera like that. The producer's going to be mad at me. Romans 10:14-15. And I love this bit here. So it says, how then shall they call on him in whom they have not believed? And how shall they believe in whom they have not heard? And how shall they hear without a preacher? And how shall they preach unless they are sent? The point here is it's perfectly understandable that you would feel that trading is too complicated because no one has ever explained it to you. That, in fact, no, trading is dead simple. It's not easy, but it is simple. This jumped out at me this past week. I'm going to go to Nehemiah chapter 8. So they had rebuilt the wall, and they were having a celebration. They were all gathered together in the courtyard to hear the word of God read out loud for the first time for many of them in their entire lives. And they hear it, and they're not very happy. They start weeping. And he said, no. Nehemiah says, no. Hey, don't weep. This is the cause for celebration. Nehemiah 8:12. It says, and all the people went their way to eat and drink. He told them, hey, go celebrate and give food and presents to other people. They went their way to eat and drink, to send portions and rejoice, because they had understood the words that were declared to them. I love how the New Living Translation says this. It says, because they had heard God's words and understood them. That is the key here. Understanding trading. Once it is demystified, you're like, oh, why did I think this thing was so complicated? And a couple more verses. We all remember the story in Acts with, well, maybe you remember the story in Acts, where Philip, I love this, by the way. I'm going to chase this rabbit, Johnny. I love this story. An angel comes to Philip and says, hey, go to Gaza, right? Leave Jerusalem, go to Gaza, and it mentions, by the way, desert. I don't know why it throws that out there, but it says, and it's desert. Just start walking. He starts walking. There's an Ethiopian treasurer in his chariot reading Isaiah. God says, go over there to it. That's it. Talk about simple. God says, start walking, and then, hey, walk over there. And he does it. He walks up to the guy, and the guy's reading Isaiah, and he says, he just all he says is, "Oh, do you understand what you're reading?" And the Ethiopian treasurer says, "How can I unless someone explains to me?" And this is what A, breaks my heart, and B, empowers me every day. This ability to say, "Do you understand trading? Because trading is simple. Let me help you with that." The last one, we've all heard of this. When the two disciples who were on the road to Emmaus, and Jesus actually walks with them for a long time, and they're talking back and forth, and then they don't realize it's him. And at the end, the scales falls off their eyes, and they see him. So it's this idea that once we had that light bulb moment, aha, everything changes. And the thing that we once thought was so complicated just becomes dead simple. So here is the big statement: trading is simple because trading is a skill. Trading is just a skill, like cooking or like juggling. And unfortunately, I'm going to juggle for you in just a minute. Before I get there, does anybody remember that it was a movie, it was a documentary, it was a bio documentary about that French philosopher, Gusteau, right? Does anybody remember that documentary that came out about 10 years ago, 15 years ago about Gusteau? It was called Ratatouille. It was misunderstood as a documentary. But in there, Gusteau, possibly the ghost of Gusteau, says anyone can cook. And he doesn't mean everyone can cook. He means that cooking is a skill that absolutely anyone can learn. Think about this. Gordon Ramsay. You think about famous chefs around the world. You think Gordon Ramsay. At one point in his life, Gordon Ramsay could not cook anything at all until he learned. And now he's Gordon Ramsay. He is who we think about when we think of Gordon Ramsay. Anyone can cook. I'm going to regret this, but anyone can juggle. Juggling is also a skill. Move my mic out of the way and embarrass myself on the internet. Yes, I know, Mr. Producer's like, why are you doing this? So juggling is a skill that I learned, excuse me, yes, for all of those out there in my mastermind are laughing at me right now. I'll hear about this tomorrow night. Juggling is a skill that I learned a few years ago. Contrary to what you're thinking right now, I'm constrained. But juggling is still just a skill that anyone can. I learned this at 15, and it was called The Idiot's Guide to Juggling, I believe it was, something like that. And when you see people out there that are doing this, and they're doing this over and over, and you think, well, how in the world are they doing that? Here it is. You take any skill. Mr. Producer back there learned how to weld. They started off with step one, and then step two. Juggling is this. Step one, you throw a ball, right? You throw a ball. Step two, when the ball reaches its highest point, you throw the other ball. Up, 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 up. That's it. So the ball reaches its highest point, you throw the next ball. That ball reaches its highest point, you throw the next ball. Repeat. That is all juggling is. It is two simple steps on repeat. Anyone can learn to juggle. I learned to juggle at 15. I am now more than 15 years old.
51.
My producer loves to remind me just how old I am. I'm 51 years old. There's some thing there, 15 and 51, they're palindromes one another. So I have known how to juggle now for whatever that math works out to, 36 years. I have never forgotten. That is one of the beauties of a skill, by the way. Once you learn, you can get rusty, but you never forget. Trading is the same way. Anyone can juggle, not well. By the way, I love this analogy. People come to me and say, hey, I want to trade Bitcoin on the 1 second chart. Why am I starting off trading Forex, trading the Euro US on the daily chart? Thank you. For this reason. Let's say that you want to be a world-class juggler. Let's say that you want to eventually juggle flaming chainsaws. Fantastic. You are still going to start juggling beanbags. You're not going to start with flaming chainsaws. By the same token, you're not going to start scalping Bitcoin. Anyone can juggle, anyone can trade. Anyone can cook. We think that trading takes special education or maybe special experience or and when we do that in our heads, all right, well, I don't have their experience. I don't have their education. I'm not like it. We are internalizing this idea that we're not the special people, that trading and investing, which by the way, those are the same thing. The only difference in the way that we modern Americans approach investing versus trading, we would consider investing trading without an end game. That's all that is. But we think we're just going to leave our money with those people, with the ones who have the experience, not realizing that the experts that you're leaving your money to, and some 23-year-old named Chad who just got out of finance school last week, so he goes binge drinking on the weekends for BlackRock. That's who the experts are. Uh, Trading is a skill that anyone can learn. God has given us this calling, and yes, I absolutely believe that trading is a calling. Um, one of the one of the wonderful things about trading is that not only is it step one in this journey, by the way, the challenge is called trading for family freedom. That's what we want. And trading is step one of that journey because the skills you learn in trading are applicable to the next one, the next one, the next one. That's what that journey is. Um, but we take this idea and we inflate it in our heads when in actuality, we're supposed to do the opposite. 1 Corinthians 1:26. If I can find this without going off camera again. Not. Sorry about that, Mr. Producer. 1 Corinthians 1:26 says, but actually, I think it's maybe 127. I'll start with 26. For you see your calling, brethren, that not many wise according to the flesh, not many mighty, not many noble are called. God has chosen the foolish things of the world to put to shame the wise. God has chosen the weak things of the world to put to shame the things that are mighty. What's that mean with us in our trading? I'm trying to show you that this simple idea of trading is for everyone. And to put to shame these guys, I see them all the time on social media. I feel like every day I'm playing whack-a-mole, knocking down these. You've seen them, the guys with the Rolex and leaning up against somebody's Ferrari. Just give me your money. Don't try to figure it out yourself. Trading's hard. Just follow my signals. I want to do what 1 Corinthians 1:26 said. I want to use the simple things to put to shame those who would complicate it. We are the ones who complicate it. God is a God of simplicity. We complicate things like an Avril Lavigne song. Did I just Avril? I'm pretty sure it's Avril. Anyway, the chick from the 90s. We all know who she is. I believe the song says, "Why do you have to always make things so complicated?" This is night one of our challenge. We're going to spend reasonably sure she was the 90s, but then again, I am 51 and my memory is not what it used to be. Look at the simplicity of Philip's mission. He had a calling from God, right? Like the Blues Brothers, he was on a mission from God. And it was so simple. God said, head south on this road. Very specific, very simple. God is not a God of confusion. And then he starts walking on that road, doesn't know what else to do, but God told him to walk on the road, so he's walking on the road. And God says, see that chariot over there? Go over to that chariot. He walks over there and it says the most simple thing in the world. Hey, do you know what you read? That was it. That was it. So that's what my mission is for here, is to demystify. So here's trading. Trading in a nutshell. Trading is simply this. Looking at where price has been, determining to the best of your ability where it's going to go, and then figuring out how you want to take advantage of it. That is it. It's 3 steps. And I love this. I'm named VP on one of my favorite YouTube channels, No Nonsense Forex. He says successful trading is even simpler. It is 3 steps. Trade your plan, get out of your own way. He uses more colorful metaphors in that step number 2. Trade your plan, get out of your own way, repeat. That's it. Much like throw the first ball. When it hits the top point, throw the second ball, repeat. Trading is just, okay, here's gold. Where's gold been the last month? Okay. Where is it likely to go based on some details that I've added? Then how do I want to take advantage of that? That's all the trading, it's all investing is. By the way, there's no difference between scalping and day trading and swing trading and position trading and investing, the sort of the 5 time frames. That's 5, right? Yes. There's no difference in how you do them other than how long it takes. They're all the same thing. We call them different things, but they're all the same thing. Uh, the specific elements that trip people up. Oh, I don't options just an option is just a contract. That is it. It's a contract that gives you the right, but not the obligation to buy something at a certain period of time. Like you're telling your neighbor, "Hey, I want to buy your house next year for $100,000, $5,000 good faith money." That's it. You know, that's all it is. Futures is a contract that has the right and the obligation. You, you go long on an oil contract and it comes to maturity, you are receiving a barrel of oil in the mail. So anyway, that's all that Bitcoin. All right, hang on, before I get to Bitcoin, Forex. People ask me before, what is Forex and why do I love it so much? What is Forex and why is it the best thing to trade? Sorry. All right. Has anybody out there, and put this in the chat, by the way, has anybody out there ever flown internationally? Just say yes in the chat. If you've ever flown internationally or flown to an international airport, maybe Atlanta, right? Now is an international airport. There's a kiosk there somewhere that will exchange money. So you just came back from London and you've got a pocket full of pounds. So you walk over to this machine and you stick your pounds in it and it spits dollars back out of you. Or maybe, hey, you're flying to Mexico. So you walk over to the machine, you stick your dollars in, and it spits pesos back at you. That's Forex, foreign currency exchange. That's all Forex is. You start with one and you end up with the other. And there's an exchange rate. I mean, just imagine when you think of Forex, think of that it's not an ATM, but it looks like an ATM. Over there in the corner, kiosk that exchanges money. That's all it is. By the way, Bitcoin, for all of the crypto out, Bitcoin is Forex because, yes, how many Bitcoins to the US dollar? How many Bitcoins to the euro? How many Bitcoins to the yen? Bitcoin is just Forex. That's all it is. We are the ones that overcomplicate things. Now, am I saying that it's easy? No, 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 no. No. Because not only are we the ones that complicate things, we are the ones that sabotage ourselves. I mentioned step 3. Those 3 steps: trade your plan, get out of your own way. Repeat. Get out of your own way is the second one. I'm not going to hold that finger up. Number 2, because of doubt, of belief. Oh my goodness, belief. We are going to spend all of tomorrow night talking about belief, because in this tug of war between what we want to do and kind of what we expect. Case in point. All right, expectation is always going to win out over desire. Case in point. Today, the producer and I
Want to talk about it?
really, really desired for the Saints to win some game, any game. Please, can we just win a game? But our expectation, probably not going to be today. Turns out it wasn't today. By the way, if anybody has read my book, this is based on the fruit of the Spirit. You don't have to read my book. If anybody's ever read the fruit of the Spirit, Paul loves him a list. And Paul says the fruit of the Spirit are love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. In the book, we apply those things to trading. But the word patience in the King James, the old King James, is the word long suffering. Anybody out there, a Saints fan, and understand completely what long suffering is? I've been told that Cowboys fans also know long suffering in and out. We have talking about things other than expectation and desire. We go into this with a desire. Hey, I want to trade for a living. I want to make extra money for my family. I want to do all these things. But when time comes to believe in what we're doing, do I really believe? There's one of my favorite verses that applies to trading is Mark something, and I didn't write it down. Johnny, if you're out there, where is it? Um, the fella comes to Jesus and says, "Hey, I got a sick kid. Can you heal my sick kid?" Jesus says, "Absolutely. I can heal your sick kid. No problem. All you have to do is believe, and I will heal your child in direct proportion to how much you believe." And the guy's like, "Ah, crap." Um, anyway, so this is what he says to Jesus. He doesn't say, "Ah, crap." He says, "I believe, Lord, help my unbelief." And that's us and trading. I believe this thing is going to work, but I kind of don't expect it to work. Why is that? Because it's never worked before. We don't know what trading success looks like. We don't know what trading success feels like. We know what failure looks like and feels like. We experience that every day. So, in this impulse to overcomplicate things, we think it can't be that simple because if it's that simple, then it's all on us. We have to be the ones to overcome. I call them my barrel of monkeys, but in my head they're minions, but I can't show them because it's a copyright violation. I want YouTube to leave my channel again. They're just bouncing off the walls in our heads, throwing bananas, wanting you to press buttons and violate every rule that you have ever laid down. That's what trips us all up as traders. Rule number 2, get out of your own way. But when it comes down to the actual nuts and bolts of trading, oh my goodness, there are so much out there. I love how creative trading is. You're like, oh, now trading is creative. Yes. One of the interesting concepts from the Bible, Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. What's the very first thing God tells us about Himself? If I were to ask, hey, God is, finish the sentence, right? You people would say, well, God is love, God is joy, God is holy, God is merciful, God is all these things, and that's all true. None of those are the first thing God said to us about Himself. First thing He says is, in the beginning, God created. First thing God tells us about God is that He's creative. We are made in His image. We are creative. And trading is such an amazing creative outlet. You can spend your entire life just building systems. I love doing that. That's one of the reasons I love doing coaching is because I get to help people build their own system. Small rabbit hole, not going to be there forever. We have a student, not going to mention her name. She came to us. She was struggling because of belief and confusion and complexity. I've tried trading before. I've taken courses and nothing ever seemed to work. I didn't understand it. And here's the saddest thing. Because she couldn't understand the way someone tried to teach it to her, she thought the problem was her. And she internalized that to think that there's something wrong with me because I can't understand it, opposed to being something wrong with the person who's trying to, whose job it was to help her. Helped her. We walked through. We took the thing down to the bare bones, one step at a time. Built her a system by her. She built it, right? I'm just there, over there, hammer, screwdriver, that kind of thing. And now you ask her about her system, she lights up. She beams because she's so proud of her. It's her baby, her system. She fully understands it and she loves it. And that's what we're at. And it's simple. It's dead simple. And there are so many people out there making so much money trading a dead simple strategy. And if you do not believe me, I wish I had thought to put the link here, but you're on YouTube already. Go to, when this is over, go to the search bar on YouTube and type in these words. I'm going to have a board back here next week. Flat Earth Trading Society. I love this experiment. It was so amazing. Flat Earth Trading Society. The guy's name is Rob something. Reinhold? Or is that the guy from Beverly Hills Cop? Anyway, he had this idea. Hey, I think that risk management is all that matters in trading. So he took $100,000 of his own money. He puts it into an account. And he tells his minions, his people who work for him, hey, we're going to trade somewhat randomly. We're going to pick stock. They traded stocks. We're going to pick stocks at random, hilariously at random. One was like, so I literally saw him take a bag full of Scrabble tiles, throw them on the floor, and they start trying to spell some company on the New York Stock Exchange. When they find one, hey, they're going to trade that. I saw somebody in the one of the minions had gone to a what's the name of the demonic singer we all hate? What's her name?
Oh,
The demonic singer we all hate.
several.
The one who's with Travis Kelsey.
Oh, oh,
Taylor
Taylor.
Swift. Sorry about that.
Oh,
I hope nobody out there is a Swiftie. Yeah. He said, "Hey, go through the lyrics of her most famous song from last night and find a stock," and they did. And then you're going to get me canceled again. Anyway, so they pick stocks at random. At random. They put a moving average on it. Said, "Hey, if it's up, we're going long. If it's down, we're going short." That was it. And then they applied risk management. 100 trades, about a year, they made 15%. The S&P index 10%. Picking stocks at random and applying risk management with the most dead simple, hilariously simple strategy made 15%. Any strategy can work. Trading is simple. Here's the thing. Here's why we think that won't work. Because the minute God gives you this calling and says, just go do this thing, it's simple. God told Philip, here's a road. Yeah, it goes through the desert. Here's a road. Walk south. Philip could have been said, well, what about north, right? What about that road over there? He could have done what Jonah did and gone the exact opposite direction and wound up in a puddle of whale vomit. He just said something simple. Satan is the one that comes along and whispers in your ear. Did God really say that? He's only ever had the one bullet in his gun. All right, from Eve on down to us, he comes up behind us after God has done his thing, given us his command, his very simple command. Go learn to trade. Go trade. Go invest your own money yourself. And Satan comes along behind and says, did God really say? I mean, we think that Satan is Emperor Palpatine going, do it, do it. He's not at all. He just comes up and whispers doubt into your ear. Hey, are you really supposed to do? Do you really know do you have the education to trade your own money? Do you have experience to manage your own 401k? Of course you don't. Just let Chad. Just let Chad do it. Satan can't block our blessing, but he can confuse our calling. He can get us so wound up tight, so doubtful. In the book I call Doubt and Discouragement, the twin killers of traders, that we just sort of freeze in place and never do anything. Remember I said that about, again, by the way, because I lack alliteration. He can't block our blessing, but he can confuse our calling. God, for those of you out there who have never heard this before, God does not call the equipped. He doesn't wait until you have passed your exams to say, okay, you are now qualified to do this thing I'm going to call you for. God says, go do this thing and we'll figure it out. I'll give you the instructions along the way. Case in point. God told Noah to build a boat because it was going to rain. Noah says, all right, I'm all in. 2 questions. What's a boat? And what's rain? All right? God absolutely, camera. I'm sorry, I put my hands down, the camera goes blurry. God absolutely called someone who was ill-equipped to build an ark. God calls us, and we are ill-equipped to set our families free, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't do it. But Satan comes up behind us and whispers, hey, did God really say that you should do it? Just be happy with your 9-to-5 job, retire at 65, and die, right? By the way, the American dream that I was sold 40 years ago was, get a good job, and buy a house and live the American dream. Well, I've been unemployed before, and you learn right quick that a good job is just whatever job you have right now, that you think you're providing for your family. But in fact, it's your employer providing for your family. That's what Satan wants to keep us trapped. He wants to, if I said the word enslaved, I would also get canceled. He wants to keep us trapped in debt and on this treadmill of misery. Don't let him. Training for family freedom. Again, I'm going to plug the challenge. It's right down there. All week long. It's free. Please show up tomorrow. We start at 6:00 Central. And the whole point is to show you can do this. Trade. I learned to trade from YouTube. Not the best way, because you can learn anything on YouTube. And the downside of that is you can learn anything on YouTube. Now, I have learned how to change the head gasket in my car off of YouTube unsuccessfully. You don't have to buy a course. You don't have to get a mentor. You can do it yourself, but you have to make the decision to do it. You have to hear the calling from God and say, yes, in fact, Satan, God did call me to do this, and I can do this because trading is simple. It's not easy. There are days where you are your own worst enemy. And then there are days that don't end in Y. But if you just take a step back and say trading is just throw the ball, and it gets to a certain point, throw the next one. Gold was up here, now it's down here. And based on what I've learned and tested and all that, I think gold's going to there. So I'm going to get into gold down here to go to there. What trading is. It is a series of check boxes on a list. I heard somebody, pardon?
Judgment-based choice.
Judgment-based choices. I heard someone say that airline pilots make the best traders because they live their life on a checklist. That's all trading is. Trading is, all right, step one, do this. Okay, I'll do that. Step two, do that. Okay, I'll do that. And you get to step 10, and it says, go outside and play. You do that. You can do this. Trading is simple. Start now. You can start trading with $0. And in fact, in our system, I was going to say we make you, or we ask you to. You're all adults, right? Our trading rules. Right. You remember the Pirates of the Caribbean? They had the what was the thing that was more of a guideline? The Pirates was the Pirates Code. Pirate Code, right? The Pirate Code, as Barbosa says, is more of a guideline. There's more of guidelines, right? We can't tell you what to do, but we had our way. Everybody out there would paper trade. I mean, trading on a demo account with no real money for 3 months, just to get repetitions and learn what you're doing. You can start trading with $0. If you want to trade real money, you can start a Forex account with $10 or a Robinhood account with $10. I got no problem with Robinhood as long as you know what Robinhood's doing. Right? You're the product, not the customer, but still, I got 100 problems with Robinhood. You can start with such little money, in fact, $0. There is no reason why you shouldn't. Hold that comment while I grab my glasses because I'm old, he says. I love how you say all this, but easier said than done comes by. Yes, no, absolutely. Just because it's simple doesn't mean it's easy. You're going to spend the rest of your life learning how to go from simple to easy. But so does anything. So does juggling. Juggling is not easy because if you're like me, I'm a running juggler. That means as I throw the balls, and I'm not doing it again, I refuse. As I throw the balls, they get progressively further and further away from me. And I was reading the book and it says, hey, the best way to overcome being a running juggler is to juggle in front of a cliff because you'll either fix it or it's not your problem anymore. It's not easy. Yes, I know. There are ways to mitigate that. There are ways to make it easy. Hey, this, right? God's word, following this is not easy. By the way, this is the world's best trading manual. You want to learn how to trade? It's in here. I learned how to set stop losses from in here. I learned how to set my take profits from in here. I learned risk management from in here. Don't believe me? We've got several videos on that. But anyway, following this day in and day out is not easy, but it is simple. Oh my goodness, is it simple? Thou shalt not kill. Has anyone ever driven 240 around Memphis and wanted to commit felonies? The producer has his hand up, so do I.
An 18-wheeler.
I mean, yeah, he did an 18-wheeler, which is even worse. Just because it's simple doesn't mean it's easy. But just because it's not easy doesn't mean we shouldn't do it. Our families, please book, chapter, verse it. I don't know if I know what you mean. If you're asking me where those things are, good luck. It takes me a while in ChatGPT and Johnny, who's not here right now apparently, to find the address for these things for me. I don't want to beat a dead horse, which is a terrible analogy. But I don't want this innate reaction that this guy says trading is simple. He must be a scammer. He must be lying. He must be trying to sell us something. He must be wrong. don't want that to hold you back. Believe that you can do it. Lord, I believe. Help my unbelief. That's in Mark chapter something, verse something. I know that for a fact. Ah, believe that you can. All Jesus says, all things are possible to them who can live. So many people out there who have a lesser calling than you are making money. Just imagine if your competency and your confidence matched your calling. You have been given a family to, Pat, hey, because you said you learned from the Bible. That. Fantastic. So there's a video on somewhere on our channel about setting your stop loss. It comes from the parable of the talents. And we've got another one in there about that one's on Take Profit. The one stop loss is in there as well. I just don't remember because I'm old. Uh-huh. We think that if it's not complicated, it can't be true. And I don't know where that comes. Guys, imagine if your confidence in this matched your calling in this. You've got a family. I've got a family. Whatever family means, by the way. It can be you and your wife and kids, be a single mom, it could be you and the goldfish, it could be my producer here with his Call of Duty squad. I know it's not Call of Duty anymore, but who I know. And his dog. I mean, whatever family means to you, I gave you a group of people. And look, hey, there's a fantastic prayer that Solomon prayed when God gives him this responsibility. We should all pray this every day. Lord, give me the ability to do this job you gave me to do in a way that honors you and serves these people. God, give me the ability to do this thing, this trading in a way that honors you and serves my family. And then go out with the confidence that God called you to this. And I think he knows what he's doing. He wouldn't have called you to it for no reason. And just because you don't know doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. I.e., hey, Noah and the boat. Noah says, hey, God, I don't know what a boat is. God said, I got you. And gives him a whole list of dimensions and materials that we've never heard of before. Gopher wood and cubits, right? But we've heard of those. Point is, don't let I don't know how in the way of, yes, Father, I'll do what you tell me to. Philip was told one very simple thing. There's a road that goes from Jerusalem to Gaza. Get on it. And as he's walking, it says, hey, there's a guy over there in a chariot. Go over there. God says, set your family free. You want your grandkids living the same lifestyle that you live? Or do you want your grandkids to be free for whatever that means? To say it was because my grandfather, my grandmother made this decision, started us all down this road. So if you want more information on this, you can do it. Join our challenge. We got it. Like I said, it's free. Won't cost you a dime. There's a VIP that there's an upcharge there, right? But we have one-on-one coaching, we got extra time, all the replays, all that kind of thing. But you don't have to do that. Go here, sign up for it. We start tomorrow night at 6. We're going to tackle this. We're going to show you some simple ideas, some simple trading strategies. We're going to show you how to get started in this. By the end of the week, you'll agree with me. Trading is simple. The time is now. So, with that, folks, thank you so much for being here. Don't let another day go by without learning this thing and going out and doing it. With that, I'll see you guys next.